So sitting down right now to I'm at the drums, by the way. Sitting down to get some focused practice in on feathering the bass drum, and wanted to invite anybody who was interested to join me because I've got, well, for two reasons. One, I've got a free hand right now, so I can video as I do it, and two, this is something that I'm going to be doing moving forward a lot. And so I wanted to kind of give you guys a chance to jump in here and maybe do a guided practice. If you're just watching, it's probably going to get really boring. So got my trusty dusty Dr. Beat here set to 60 beats per minute. My goal is not to be following and landing exactly on each of those pulses. I'm using that as a guideline. I'm trying to land my kicks roughly around that. What I'm focused on is what's happening down there. What's going on with my ankle, my feet, the beater, of course, my placement, and I'm just going to be making changes that make this easier as I go. But again, feathering. So if these are our quarter notes, you can see there. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be just a consistent repetition. So I mean, you don't really need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, but I will do it to count you in. So 1. Or wait, I'm going to wait for it to actually go around on the metronome. 1, 2, ready, go. Obviously, you can like use your toe to guide the stroke a little bit. I'm playing with that, but like I also want my ankle to at least be able to do a little bit of this. So I'm probably going to work on what's harder. Practice for me is usually like finding modifications that challenge me. Like if I can find the most awkward feeling thing, I'll work on that usually. But step one is just kind of just getting your body used to doing this. So you don't need to put a lot of thought into it. You just need to get repetition. Obviously, you could bury the beater, or you could play off of it. I'm working on playing off of it personally. I think that like my only piece of advice would be just make it intentional. So if you're going to bury the beater, and if you're not, don't. If you're going to do it every other one, do it every other one. For the sake of this right now, I am attempting to play off of it. You're seeing that there is some dribbling. Also keep in mind that like adjusting pedal tension is going to change this. Adjusting where my foot is on the pedal board is going to change that. I usually, if I'm playing loud, I do shift a little bit further back on the pedal board. I'm not playing with my pedal tension because I don't want to have to adjust my pedal tension depending on the music that I'm playing. Ooh. All right, I'm going to try burying the beater consistently now. Burying the beater or burying the stick in the head, again, if it's a choice, I think it's good to be able to just jump in and out of different techniques. But it's nice because it gives you a shorter note. You know, it also does a little bit of a pitch bend. It's a definite sound choice. You can experiment with different levels of pressure. There's less pressure. Listen, you'll hear more dribbles, more buzz. there's less. Here's more. I'm experimenting with more right now. I'm trying to create a short note. Look at your beater right now too, and make sure that like whatever volume you're playing at, try and play quieter right now. That's the biggest thing with feathering the bass drum that's shocking, is like how little movement there is. All right, I'm gonna experiment with laying off a little bit. I don't know why. Again, I'm just experimenting with getting control. The way that I typically play, like the things that I practice in the practice room don't show up in my playing for months. And I don't just like immediately use them. Also, you might see that I have business socks on. That's because it's business time. We're practicing. The secret to a good bass drum sound is to have really, really dirty heads, by the way. I must have spilled a drink or something. I'm not really sure. All right, I'm going to go back to single hits. Ooh, it was getting loud there. Like, I was up there. I'm trying to keep it at like, I don't know, like an inch and a half, I guess. And obviously the hardest part is keeping it from rebounding too much, which I'm sure has to do with my spring tension. A lot of jazz players will play with a felt beater too. I got one of those lying around that I can show you, but I intentionally played with a or not a felt, but like a wool beater. My apologies. I'm using a felt because a lot of the stuff that I do requires attack, but in this case it was an intentional decision because I want it to be more buzzy and more unforgiving, as if playing with a 24-inch bass drum wasn't already forgiving enough. Oh. Christ. I'm gonna switch it up now. I'm gonna do, and by the, like I'm assuming a lot of you have played drums, but like when I say burying the beater, I mean like pushing the beater into the head at every hit. Anyways, yeah, sorry. I'm gonna experiment with burying, tap, bury, tap, bury, tap. Or I guess bury, off, bury, off, bury, off. Ooh, bury, off, bury. don't really like what burying the beater or like doing the buzzes does for my technique. Um, Experimenting with different amounts of rebound, especially at low volumes. I don't really know what it is, but I have just found it increases my control at such a ridiculous rate. I might have just switched while I was talking. It's super hard to talk and do this at the same time. I'm going to go back now to normal, just in case I lost some of y'all. Let's do, gosh. Let's do like a, alternating between, like, what I'll do is I'll add a downbeat here. So that ping. I just turned up the, oh wait, the accent button. So let's do, when there's a ping, let's do a harder hit. Whew. I'm experimenting with, you can stop playing for a second. I'm experimenting with like, one thing that they, when you're drumming, if you're like doing a series of high hits, but then you need to get quiet, the last hit, you probably can't hear me. The last hit before you get quiet needs to end quiet so that you can play quiet, otherwise you're going to be like boom, 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 oh, boom, boom. So you need to be like, tap, 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 low. And it's got to stay low. And so when we're doing those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, this is representing our beater. That first hit needs to be down and stay low, which is actually called a downstroke. It's got to go down and stay low so that the following note, otherwise it's going to be like, and it's going to gradually go low, so that first hit needs to stay low. And I'm experimenting with that, and what I'm getting is it's going, as I try and bring it down, I'm doing a dribble, I'm doing a double stroke, or I guess like a diddle if you're a drumliner nerd. I did drumline, that's why I said that. So I knew something was off. I was like, what am I missing? It's the metronome. So 1, 2, back to what we were doing. And I know that some people would maybe argue that I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I see, as long as you're not injuring yourself, I see benefit in jumping ahead to advanced concepts that are challenging because they'll make the earlier concept easier. Ooh, 3, 4. I'm noticing when I'm doing badly at this, a direct correlation with how much tension I have in my ankle. 2, 3. Which is a shocker, tensions notoriously makes things technique-wise difficult. Oh, 2, I keep missing. 3, I'll shut up. I'm gonna go back to the lows. So another thing I was noticing while I was doing that is that, and it's actually another one of those, how I said there were downstrokes. Again, this is our beater. Ooh, you know what I'll do? Haha, it looks like a beater. Is like, because there's the downstrokes where you start high and end low. But like there's also upstrokes, or I forgot what that, we always called them prep strokes. But like, well, no, I guess a prep would just be up. But it's where you do a tap and then you bring it high. And what that does is if you're playing quietly, you need to get your stick up high. So if you're like, like if I'm alternating loud and quiet hits, like one of those is going to be a downstroke so that I can do the low stroke, but then the low stroke has to be an upstroke in order for me to play the following high stroke, if that makes sense. So I'm thinking like start high and low, start low and high, start high and low, start high and low, low to high, high to low, low to high. And then I'll, yeah, so on and so forth. Anyways, so I was noticing that I was also needing to practice getting out of the way of myself. Anyways, I'm actually running out of time, and we did this for about 20 minutes. Thanks for joining me. I'm gonna just play some drums now and get some creativity out. But like, that's a killer 20-minute exercise. And if that was way too easy for you, there's also just like the speed control stuff in the option menu or settings, whatever the hell it's called. Anyways, yeah, y'all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.